ended too early. We can sync it better and it'll fit.
It was worth it.
There's definitely room to sync that better and have it fit.
Oh yeah.
Anywho,
Dark Souls Neo 2 goes with everything.
welcome back to some good old Neo 2 going with everything goodness. Hope, of course, opening her drink right in the mic, as always, right in the middle of my intro. So, if you're watching the video version of this on Patreon, you can see that we are in the new house, and we're sitting on the floor.
Floor gang, woo!
Partially, as you know from watching my latest vlog, I could not get the couch up the stairs. It's physically impossible. The stairway is too small. There's no way to get the couch up here. So it's gonna have to be some changes to how the set works. Possibly floor chairs. I took the wheels off my office chair, and it's on the floor now, and I like it. It's really comfortable, you know? I'm fine with it. I need to get another one for you.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to light us if we're on the floor, because I can get the lights, because the ceiling is so low, I can't put the lights super high.
Uh-oh.
So if we're on the floor, then, we got distracted because just off camera, Lala is sitting on the ground in front of us, being adorable and laying out, and it's quite cute.
She's just out of frame, but I promise
it's precious,
she's there.
yeah. Anywho, so it's easier to light us if we're on the ground because I can't put the lights that high.
Yeah.
So it's kind of beneficial in that way. It will be more comfortable for both of us once I get you a chair. And I'm thinking about putting the CRT on the ground in front of us here. I just need a smaller mic stand to go between us. Anywho, there's so much going into this new fucking setup. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh wait, this is the wrong character. This isn't Darvik and Hope character.
Uh-oh, yeah, I was gonna say, this looks
gotta go
like
back out.
your sincere character.
Yes, this is my main. Whew, but yeah, so... Oh, I probably should turn off the AC unit so it doesn't blow into the microphone.
Oh. Yeah.
So once again, if you saw the vlog, you know that this new space is a renovated attic. And so the only way to cool it down is with this Mitsubishi fucking air blower thing. Very Japanese fucking apartment style.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's just that, like, it gets hot really fast, and that thing is loud for recording, so there's some issues.
Yeah.
This is not the most ideal room to record in the world, but it's like, it would be insufferable as our bedroom, so that can't happen, and then there's literally nothing else we could do with this space. It would be wasted space. It would just turn into an attic. It would just be storage space.
It would be a genuine attic.
Be a genuine storage space attic, and that would be a total waste. When there's a bathroom up here, there's so much space, so it's gotta be the Vic and Hope, recording room. It's just I have to rethink how this goes in order to make it work. And I think it'll be fine. I think the floor gang stuff is gonna work out. I need to, clearly, like you can see on screen, I need to put something behind us to look interesting, because it just looks like a fucking mess.
Yeah, it's a little chaotic back there.
I need to figure that out. Maybe hang something. I can still do the colored lighting. I just went for, like, neutral daylight for this, because it's easy.
Daylight.
Yeah.
And we don't have curtains or blinds yet.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be really easy to black this room out to record
for sure.
with colored lights at any time of day. Okay, there we go. Taking us a little while to get started here. There's simultaneously, like, a lot to go over from the last 10 days, and also not that much to go over, I guess.
It's a tough one. It's tricky.
Yeah, jumping into it really fast. I feel ashamed that I couldn't get any YouTube done the last...
Well, we've been hauling ass, you know?
Yeah, it's just been so much work. Okay, what am I doing? Playing Neo 2. How you been doing?
I've been back to work. Oh, bye, Lala. Back to work. I had to watch Lala go. Back to work. Things are basically back to normal in the healthcare world.
Yeah. I think we're greatly enjoying the new house and the location.
Yeah,
like
definitely the location is great.
There's so much we're discovering about the area and, like, in our convenience in terms of, like, where we are in relation to the things that we already used to do, you know?
Yeah.
Or it's like most of the stuff we really care about we're actually closer to than we used to be. And then, like, we're finding out, we just found this Walmart neighborhood market down the street next to a Wawa. And, like, I had no idea that stuff was there. And it's, like, in a convenient place to where if I'm going towards downtown to work. Yeah. it's like not only will it become my regular grocery store to shop at, like it's on the way to things. So like
Yeah.
it would be convenient to stop there while commuting. We're really close to Target and Home Depot and all this shit that we used to go, like we went to these same places before. We were just so far away that it was fucking tedious and I never wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, ooh, 5 minutes.
It was always an
Awesome.
event to go to any of those places because you were, you know, signing up for a 20-minute, 25-minute trek there.
Yeah. I'm being tripped out right now because this room is actually really well insulated, I'm finding, now that we're talking. Like, it's really quiet up here.
It is really quiet up here.
And, like, I feel like I'm hyper aware of my controller sounds. Like, this is actually probably a great room to record audio in.
I was
like,
gonna
it probably
say,
sounds
this
pretty
is a
clean.
great studio as far as the audio goes, because it is very insulated.
Like, as soon as I turn the AC unit off, it's, like, dead
It's
silent.
silent.
Except I have the window open, so this is
there is
this is
the-
even
yeah.
with the window open.
But the window is so small that not a lot of sound is probably
Yeah.
coming in, you know?
It's gonna take me a minute to fucking reacclimate myself to playing this game.
I never thought about how
I think I was
Like-
already past this part.
acoustically bouncy our living room was in the
Yeah,
old house.
it was not good. Like as a place to record audio, this is much better. Because I never wanted to put the money and work into like tricking that space out, you know?
Yeah, well, it wasn't ours, so like,
Yeah.
what would be the point?
It's like in here, I could easily like great set decoration. I just put acoustic paneling on the walls, and it looks perfectly fine in the background. You know, there's so much potential for me to do things in this room. I do worry about with my converting to like a floor lifestyle, because I think it would be cool to have like small, you know, short tables and stuff, and like really commit to the Japanese floor lifestyle, especially because the ceiling is so low here that it would just be way more comfortable that way.
Yeah.
But in terms of like bringing in clients and stuff, because like occasionally I do have a client come over
That's
to edit,
true.
but they might think it's neat. They might think it's novel.
I
you
mean,
know?
I think they'll think it's very like charming in that it's personal.
Yeah. And it is different, and as long as it's like aesthetically pleasing and comfortable, like people won't really have
as long
a
as
problem
it's not
with it.
hot as hell up here, I don't
Yeah.
think anyone will care.
I do like part of me feels like it's a shame that there's the guest room like where we could do this stuff, but like I wouldn't want to take up that space, and like all this wouldn't fit in there, you know?
Yeah, the guest room is like
It would be as cramped as
smaller
we
than
were
this
in the
for
last
sure.
house.
because this is like the length of basically the whole house.
Yeah. It's fucking huge. It's fantastic. Get him.
Yeah. Moving, getting everything, you know, settled in the new house, trying to make it, you know, put all our shit up, get everything into place, build new furniture.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, I want to start from the beginning and talk about the whole move. I feel like I had more things to say about it like earlier in the week, but it's just now it feels like it's been forever, but also it's been lightning fast.
Yeah.
It's just weird feelings where like the days go by really quickly, but then when you think about a week ago, it feels like forever ago.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I'm saying. It feels like I'm like, oh, we've only been here a week, but it feels like I don't know, it feels longer, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's
And
fucking
it's like
bizarre.
I'm already totally comfortable with this as my house, but also it's still so not decorated that it's awkward and strange and echoey, you know.
Yeah.
At least downstairs. Downstairs
We
is still
haven't put
echoey.
all the artwork up and whatnot, which we
It's
are working
trippy.
on.
Yeah. Hwah. So, as far as moving goes, what did I want to talk about?
What did you want to talk about? This
Fucking-
is only my second time moving, you know, second
Yeah.
time after moving out of my parents' house into my previous house.
Yeah, 'cause you lived in one house your whole life,
I
right?
lived in one house my entire life.
You went to like 2 or 3 schools, but we were
I went to
always
2
in one.
schools.
Yeah.
I went to private school until the
Well, I
11th
thought you
grade.
didn't you start at a different private school?
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, I went to Catholic school for kindergarten. And then starting in 1st grade, I went to GCA, but just switched buildings once.
Yeah.
Lala
Kindergarten
is,
barely counts.
scratching at your heart.
Like basically preschool. Oh, yeah,
She's
I know she was
scratching
using
your
that as a
Valentine
bed. Anywho, yeah, but I've moved many times, so like it's easy for me to just kind of like we moved fast as fuck. It was like 2 or 3 hours it took us to move from one house to the other.
Yeah.
It was really fast. We got the truck early in the morning at like 9 or something, and we were done moving by like fucking 12. And then I was off to Home Depot to pick up a bunch of wood. Like we cranked that shit out.
Yeah.
Fucking,
You and Steven fucking hauled ass.
Like, I had my friend Steven over to help, and Hope had her friend over. And then, like, you guys went to get monsters in the morning, and by the time it took you to go to 7-Eleven...
a 10-minute trip.
Yeah, we had already gotten all of the most difficult furniture out of the house and into the truck, which is the couches.
We came back and everything was, like, the big shit was gone, and we were like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, I was at the boss. That's right. Oh, fuck. But yeah, it's like I can pretty fucking efficiently gut a house. I've done it many times, and I've helped so many other people move, you know, that it's like okay, I still need to get the key. Jesus Christ. What am I hearing right now?
Music from outside.
Weird. Can you close that window?
I can. It's gonna get real hot in here.
Yeah, I know. But, like, that's gonna be in the recording, probably. Weird.
Oh, it's coming from the apartment complex down the street.
Of course. Oh, that reminds me of when we first fucking... So, before we decided to move, we spent the night in the house with nothing in it.
Yeah.
Which I like to do with you, because I think it's a fun way to, like, get comfortable with the house and kind of, like, think about where you're gonna put things before you gotta bring it all in, you know?
Right.
Because once you start moving in, it can be overwhelming, and, like, you're just putting shit around randomly, and you're not, you know, it's a lot. So it's helpful to, like, spend the night in the empty house the night before and kind of plot out, like, oh, we can put stuff here, we can move, you know, we can use this room as storage space for a little while, which is what our guest room is doing right now, as you saw in the video. It's just, like, storing all of our shit, because there's nowhere to put any of it yet. Nah, no, don't kill me. I gotta fight the wall. But yeah, so we stayed the night in the house. That was a bunch of fun. But very quickly, we had not noticed in the neighborhood that right behind our house is, like, this gigantic apartment complex. Like, we're in the middle of a neighborhood of houses, and then, like, just behind our house there's a huge apartment complex. And, like, the night we're staying overnight with nothing in the house, there's, like, a block party happening.
Yeah.
Which is fucking odd. It's just,
Which was, like,
blasting
right
music.
as the quarantine was getting ready to go into, like, phase 1 of lifting.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess everybody was just going absolutely ham.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. And, like, I didn't
parties.
go check it out, but I saw people, like, kind of milling around. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if someone was just playing loud music out of their car or what. But it was immediately like, oh, fuck. Here we go with this shit. Here we go with people in this apartment complex making a whole lot of noise, and I had not realized that complex was even there, like, until this moment.
I'm really surprised you didn't notice that, because even, like, the first time, like, the second time we came back here and I drove out that way, I mean, like, I immediately noticed it.
Well, I hadn't driven that way, so I literally had not seen that side, you know?
I mean, but no exaggeration, that complex is freaking huge. It spans, like, at least 5 blocks down away from us.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's pretty massive. So that immediately, like, it got me, like, a little unnerved, and I was like, fuck, did we make a mistake? Did we move somewhere a little ghetto and ridiculous? I don't think so.
No.
It's not like subsidized housing or anything, I don't think.
I don't think.
Like, there are places in Norfolk that are real sketchy housing.
Yeah.
And it's like you kind of know the difference, because this is an apartment complex with parking spaces, and it looks relatively new, you know? The subsidized housing areas usually don't have parking.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, loads and loads of cars on the road surrounding the area, and there's no roads in between the buildings. It's just, like, really small apartments, very, very crammed together. Even those in Norfolk, like, look relatively new and nice,
even
like,
those
compared to
are,
what you would see in other, like, bigger cities, you know?
Yeah. They don't look nearly as atrocious as some that I've seen.
Like, fucking, where we are now is a fraction of the sketchiness of, like, your average street in New Jersey. Like, when you drive through there, you were just fucking like, oh god, where the hell am I? This all looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Where we're at now, totally fine. And when we moved into the last house, like, I felt the same way about that area. I didn't know how to feel about it yet. And, like, there were... Like, where we lived before, it was a mix of, like, nice houses around us and, like, skeezy apartments. So I'm kind of used to the Norfolk vibe of, like, shit's really mixed together.
It really, it's a pretty combined culture.
Yeah. But it was just, like, really off-putting to,
Yeah, Vic was really unnerved by this.
Because there's something eerie about it. And it was, like, a dark, stormy night, you know?
It was, yeah.
There was a
I think
foreboding tone.
We were just extra nervous because there was nothing in the house, and it had been a stressful day, and we were trying to figure everything out and make sure everything was in order, and all of our utilities were going to be on and shit. Like,
there
was
was
just stressful.
a lot going on.
So I think that colored a bit of your perception of the events that were taking place across the street.
Definitely.
Colored.
La 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 la. But yeah, so that was interesting. Since I've definitely warmed up. It seems like we're on a pretty quiet street.
Yeah.
There's just like some old people walking their dogs sometime, which I like to see. That means
There's
that
like
no one is afraid to be outside.
Old
you know?
dude who's like regularly walking his Akita down the street, and the neighbors will like come up and pet his dog.
Yeah.
So that's how you know you're like, oh, it's fine. If people are coming up and petting other people's dogs, like, nothing to worry about.
And it's like, because I just have so much stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what makes me nervous, is that I have all of this fucking film equipment in my shed. My plan was to keep my equipment in our detached garage shed and have that, and turn it into like a studio.
Which, like, I always had concerns about that method because
Yeah.
the shed just feels too insecure to be storing.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not temperature controlled, and that makes me
I know,
nervous too.
but, you know, the plan was, you know, put work into it and eventually get there. But it's like, just the fact that, like, it faces that apartment complex makes me nervous because, like, people will know I'm putting things in there, you know? It's just not very secure. And then, like, now thinking about it, the amount of work it would take me to build that out is just going to be staggering, you know?
Yeah.
It would definitely be a far off goal because I just don't have that money right now and the time to really put all that in there. And it's like, that'd be a big operation.
Yeah. Oh, hey, but
Because who knows if, like, now you have to meet certain building standards if you're going to do stuff in there, you know? Especially because, like, I would be doing it as a business thing, so, like, I would be subject to certain rules. You
Yeah.
can't just, like, do whatever you want, you know, when it comes to building structures.
But that Saturday when we were moving in, and then we went to we had unpacked everything into the house, and then we went to the Home Depot, and holy shit!
Oh, God,
you
that's
can
the-
tell
yeah.
society is fucking done with this quarantine shit, cause everyone and their goddamn brother and twice removed uncle and their dog was fucking at Home Depot and
Oh, my
Target
God.
and Walmart, and I wanted to die.
So there was a convenience for us moving on Memorial Day weekend.
A 3-day weekend.
Yeah, a 3-day weekend. So it gave us a lot of time to move, which was good. But holy fucking shit, it was like Black Friday times 2 outside. It was fucking nuts everywhere you went.
was
The traffic was abysmal.
bonkers.
People were everywhere. Just having a field day. It felt like everyone's birthday in there. They were just buying
Yeah.
tons and tons of shit. You could tell it was a bunch of people just like me because I needed to buy all these woodworking tools to make our bed frame. And so it's like, I am buying newbie baby DIY home fucking woodworking shit, and everyone else around me is buying the same shit. Like, we're all looking for the same table saw that's not on a shelf, and
Yeah.
like, I'm going around asking employees, and then like, I keep seeing people coming up to the same shelf being like, oh, is it not there? Is it, they don't have the table saw? I'm like, why are we all buying the same fucking
Everyone's
table saw right
buying
now?
a table saw.
Nothing makes you feel like more of a tool than when you're
Heck,
inside of a
buying
place,
tools.
like, looking for the same shit that everyone else in the world is looking for, and you're like, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
Like, anytime I'm doing something and everyone else is doing the same thing, I feel like I must be a fucking asshole.
It does make you feel like a buffoon when you're like, well, if these fucking ding-dongs are looking for that, do I really want it?
And then every time I forget to wear my mask and I go into these fucking places
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
God.
oh god. Like, everyone who's not wearing a mask looks like the biggest fucking asshole in the world. And I'm like, I don't want to be, even beyond, like, my thinking the mask will do anything at all, like, the fact that I don't want to be associated with the douchiest people in the world,
Yeah.
like, that might be the most vain reason to possibly wear a mask, and I might be aligning myself with, like, the SJW douchebags, but, like, just looking at the faces of the people around who
Yeah.
aren't wearing masks, looking at everyone who is wearing a mask, like, these fucking idiots. Every
It's,
single person has this dumb, glazed look in their face, and, like, this half-cocked smile, like, look look at these fucking libtard idiots wearing their fucking masks.
It's a real
Lol.
don't step on Sneck kind of situation.
Fucking don't step on Snack. And you're
It's
just like, oh, I don't want to be one of these
Sure.
fucking guys.
Even if the mask isn't really doing anyone any good, at this point it's more about the camaraderie of
Yeah.
showing that you're supporting everybody right now during, a fucking pandemic when society is losing its shit. That's really more what it's about, at least to me.
Yeah, and it became a partisan issue, you know?
It's
it became
political, yeah.
a political left
Which
versus
is
right issue.
Only in America would wearing a fucking face mask during a pandemic become a political statement. What
Yup.
a fucking dumbass backwards country we live in.
That's just how our fucking culture is working right now. Everything is politicized, everything is left versus right. And you gotta pick a side and be on a fucking team. And if you're listening to all the right-wing people, they're gonna make you feel like a fucking idiot for wearing the mask. And you're like, wow,
sheeple.
fuck wearing the mask. I'm not a fucking sheeple. And if you're on the left, you're gonna feel like you're a fucking terrible person if you're not wearing a mask. And at the end of the day, just wear the fucking mask! Just wear the mask!
There's literally no harm in it. You're only going to help.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you could do with it. If it does nothing, there's no net loss. If it helps, there's a net gain. That's all there is to it. It's that fucking simple.
God.
Just look. It's not about you. It's not about your fucking rights. It's about looking out for the people who are weaker than you and who are immune compromised and elderly. It's not. It's just. It pisses me off that people are like, my rights. It's like, not about your goddamn rights. Shut the fuck up. My mom is one of these people, so I have every right to be incensed.
She's immediately became obnoxious about it.
Oh my god, she was talking about it because me and my friend who was helping us move stopped over at my parents' house to get a stud finder for house purposes. And we were sitting there chit-chatting, and my mom was like, oh, are you wearing masks in public? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I do. And she's like, oh, I don't wear a mask unless I'm forced to go into a store. I mean, I'll do it if the store tells me to, but I'm not wearing a mask in public. I'm like, oh, well, aren't you fucking edgy and enlightened, my friend?
She was talking about it. She had made some comments about it, and she was talking about, like, people can't look at each other, and there's no contact,
Oh
and she looked like she was about to fucking cry when she was talking about it. I'm like, this is the propaganda that they've gotten you into of making this a big deal when it's just not a big deal. It is not a fucking big deal at all.
Here's the thing. Since when has anyone in America given a shit about how anyone else other than themselves have felt? You don't give a shit what the person behind the mask is feeling, what they're emoting, none of that. You just feel like you're being oppressed and you want an emotional way to describe why you're right. That's all.
Yep.
Your fucking emotional goddamn human connection high horse. Fuck off. You can tell if someone is smiling when they're wearing a mask. You can still see someone's eyes. You know. If you have any sort of emotional intelligence, you can look at someone's eyes and get a general idea of what they're emoting if they're emoting at you. It's not that hard. I manage it at work all day, every day. How come this is such a fucking stretch for so many people? I don't understand.
It's like, you know, tons and tons of people have to wear these every day at work. Like, if you're working in any sort of, like, industrial scenario where you have to wear tons of PPE all the fucking time, you have to wear respirators to do your job, you know? If you're working in the medical field, you're wearing these every day all the time anyways. Get the fuck over it. It's not a big deal.
People were like,
And I'm almost, like, as fucked up as these riots and everything are, at least it's taking the fucking, like, giving people an outlet of something real to talk about other than this fucking mask bullshit where it's just like people are bored and have nothing to do and so they're bitching about the masks. And it's like, at least now we're getting back to remembering that there's bigger political issues going on and bigger societal struggles than having to wear a fucking mask outside. It's so stupid.
And now that our governor has made a mandate that you have to wear masks whenever you're inside of a building or an establishment, oh God, Lord help us, the fucking First Amendment is being violated. Whoa. Fucking clutch your pearls, friends. Jesus. And it's not even enforceable by law enforcement, by the way.
Yeah.
It's only enforceable by health officials. And where the fuck are these guys? I have no idea. I don't think I've ever seen a health official in my entire time in Virginia. So it's basically not enforceable. The worst thing that can happen to you is you're not allowed to go in the goddamn Target. So I really have no empathy.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking annoying. Get over it. It's not, like, okay, I can see the argument where the coronavirus can be used as an opportunistic thing to start restricting rights and stuff. Wearing a mask is not the hill to die on.
No.
That is not the rights you need to be worried about. Stop making a fucking fuss about all that shit and talk about the stuff that actually is a violation of rights, you know? Because to me, honestly...
Like police brutality.
I think it's a bigger violation of the guy next to you's right to live from you giving him coronavirus because he didn't want to wear a fucking mask, you know?
God, it's just,
everyone
it's so
has a right to their own
self-centered.
fucking life and health, and you not fucking infecting them because you didn't want to wear a fucking mask to Target. Anyways, I gotta pee real bad, so... Oh, Jesus.
Well, it's a good thing we have a bathroom up here.
Yeah, there's a bathroom up here. You can hear me pee. I'm gonna leave the door open.
Oh, sick, dude. Yes, Victor peeing ASMR. I hope you guys are ready.
I'm gonna go pee!
The best thing about our bathroom is that it's also slanted with this kind of ceiling right here. So when Victor goes to stand to pee, the ceiling is up against his head, and he has to tilt his head to the side while he pees.
Woo!
It is pretty funny.
I'm going pee!
He's definitely going pee right now. There is no soap up here, buddy.
It's just... How rigorously do I have to wash my hands after I pee?
Hey, 20 seconds, sing happy birthday twice.
It's just touching my pee-pee.
Ew. You're gross.
I'm not peeing on my hands.
Yes, you are. You're peeing on your own pants.
True.
Victor's the pants pissinest boy I ever met. The most pants pissinest.
Anyways, didn't mean to get on such a fucking tear about the masks. It's like, I don't give that much of a shit, but like...
It's just irritating to hear people bitch about it.
Yeah. And to hear idiots bitch about it. It's like, if you can make a good justification, I'm fine, but when your excuse is fucking stupid... Like,
When your
it
excuse is
pisses
you
me
can't
off.
see someone's face, and that makes you sad.
Yes.
Fuck
God.
you.
It's one thing to have, like, intellectual discussions about it, but it's just like, when you just can't respect a simple fucking rule, it just bothers me. When it's so not a
But
big deal, and so does not affect your fucking well-being at all. To complain about the mask. It's like, yeah, I don't like wearing the mask either. It irritates my face. It fucks up my hair, you know? It's annoying and you're breathing on yourself. It fucking sucks. But I'm gonna just wear it, you know?
I really love the idea that, like, to certain conservative sections of the United States, being told to wear a mask is such a repression, such a suppression of their rights, and such an impingement on their civil liberties, but they're okay with making abortion illegal. It's like, oh, so that's a problem, but then abortion, you know, is oh, well, that's where
It's
we draw
just
the
whatever's
line.
inconveniencing you at the moment is what you care about.
Of
That's how these
course.
fucking people work. Anywho.
It's that boy.
It was really frustrating that weekend because now I'm glad that there's like an executive order to wear this shit because that's
Yeah.
at least an honest attempt, because the way it was, like, I was making an argument, which Conrad tweeted this, and it started getting Twitter fights about it.
Oh god.
But because I gave him this quote and he ran with it. But because I was making the argument from going to Home Depot in these places that, like, 2/3 of the people were not wearing masks, at least, if not 3/4. Mm-hmm. So the thing with the way it is right now, only essential stuff is open for
Right.
you to go to.
Essential being used very liberally.
Yes, very liberally. It's Walmart and Target, which have groceries, but most people are buying bullshit, including me, because we just moved and I need to
mean,
buy bullshit.
Guilty, but
Like, if you have a more limited number of places that are open, then everyone who needs to shop is going to go to those same places.
right.
And so if no one is wearing a mask and everyone is going to those places, then more people are coming in contact with, like, these stores are at a higher capacity of people in them than they ever are
yeah.
without the quarantine. And that's because there's a more limited number of places they can go. Mm-hmm. So if you get a higher quantity of people into less spaces, then that is that to me is less good than having fewer people spread out among many places.
Yeah.
You know,
You're funneling everyone into.
You're funneling them all into the same place, so people are now encountering people that they never would have before going to their own. Like, going to the places they usually would have gone, you know?
Yeah.
There are way more people in smaller areas. That, to me, is a big problem, especially when they're lining up outside of Target and half the people don't have masks on. It's like, it doesn't matter if only a quarter of the people are wearing a mask, and then the system's not working, you know?
Yeah.
Then no one wear a
need-
mask. If only a quarter of the people are wearing a mask, you're not making any progress that way.
To be complying across the board.
Yeah. So at least with an order saying you have to wear the mask, then that's at least preventing fucking something. But if no one's wearing the mask and way more people are going to smaller places, you're not making any progress.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna make shit worse.
I think the people that I feel the worst for in all of this are the essential employees at places like that.
Exactly.
Like, the amount of stress they must be experiencing and the amount of shit they must be getting from these people who are already irritated from being pent up in their house for a month, and they're taking it out on these fucking poor people that are making $8 an hour. It's like, I can't even imagine what a fucking shit show
Making
that
less
must
than
feel
what
like.
unemployment is paying right now.
Yeah. You know? Oh, that's just the fucking worst. Ugh,
Being shoved brand loyalty down their throat constantly by their employers. You know that's happening.
Oh, absolutely.
We're here for you. We're here for you. We're here for you.
It's even, you know, that's and you know, all those places are like making cuts to like save money and shit, because that's what everyone's doing right now. I mean, even my job, like, they've scaled back some of our benefits because of the money they lost during Corona. It's just like, I just can't even imagine. It's such a shit show.
Change my equipment. I'm sorry for anyone who's like sick of hearing about this shit. It's just been 10 days for us. We need to voice our frustrations.
Yeah,
It was just a lot this
lot.
weekend. It was fucking frustrating as shit going out
Yeah.
and just seeing that state of things. Maybe I'll put a timestamp in the description of this video that lets you skip over coronavirus discussion. Because I get it. I'm fucking sick of hearing about it too, you know?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It's a lot.
That was what people were talking about on the bonus episode. Some people were like, you know, great episode and everything, but like, I'm tired of hearing about this shit.
Completely.
It's like,
fair.
I'm fucking with you, brother, but like, this is what's happening in culture right now, you know?
Yeah.
There's no avoiding it.
That's very true. I mean, it always feels like it's every conversation circles back around to it.
Because what else is going on? Now there's riots going on, so you can talk about that.
But like,
riots.
That's even better.
That's a conversation that we've been having for a very long time, and it's the same conversation that it's been all along, you know? Nothing has changed since fucking 1991 or 2 or whatever. It's very frustrating. I don't even want to fucking get into all that.
Yeah.
I have my takes, and I'll keep them to my fucking self because there's too much going on with all that.
Hot button issue, as they say.
Yeah. But fucking more about moving. What else have we done?
Well, Victor,
equip shoes.
you did some building, right?
I did some fucking building, man. People saw in the video I built a bed frame. I built a record shelf. Had to buy a ton of tools. It was a lot. It was a whole lot of work.
Yeah, we've really had to feed the capitalist cycle these past couple weeks since moving in.
I feel like I've got stuff to say about that, but I've become so exhausted now from talking about the mask.
The mask.
So much energy it takes to talk about this shit.
We've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that though, because I
no?
want us to do a whole video on that.
Oh, okay.
Because I've the spoilers that I've been loving the game a lot because I'm not a fan of the original game. I've never really played it. I've played it for like 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Like,
you played it more than I have interacted with it at all.
I have not played the game at all. So for me, the new game is just like, oh, this is great. This is Final Fantasy VII. Cool. Oh, I actually like this a lot. This is hilarious and fun and awesome. So that's been my experience with the game.
We'll talk about that more.
I want to do a full video of us on the couch or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I wasn't sure what the plan was.
Yeah.
I figured I'd talk about it.
But yeah. I mean, we haven't been able to like consume a lot because we've been doing moving stuff.
Dorohedoro is out of Netflix jail, so I really want to finish that.
Yeah, we'll finish that and do a video on it. That should be fun. So everyone go watch it.
There's some
So you
what was
can,
the other thing that was
so
on
you can-
Netflix. Oh, we need to finish Brand New Animal.
Fuck yeah. Gah.
We have
There's
a
too
lot
much to
that we need to
do.
fucking finish. I want to get back to Gleipnir. I really want to watch
Yeah, I
more
want to
Gleipnir.
watch Gleipnir too.
It
Is
looks
that
like
over
it
now?
got like really fucking edgy and
Yeah.
goofy, which is exactly what I want.
There's so much to catch up on, and now I'm like weeks behind on my quote unquote like mainline content. I need to finish
Yeah.
the Fate ADQ this week because it's just taking way too long. Because there's lots more plans I have, which now I mean I guess it's good because now those plans will last a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I had a tentative schedule printed out, and now I'm 3 weeks behind on that schedule. So, you know, more to come in the future, as
Yeah.
always. But shit for people to look forward to.
Yeah. I read the new volume of Beastars.
Nice.
I finally have gotten past the point where the anime was. Mm-hmm. So that's been a lot of fun. Legoshi is just like the character that is most like high school Victor that I've ever encountered in any form of media.
I'm so glad that you feel this way because I had talked about how I was like him. I think when we were doing the neurotyping chart.
I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, because
Just
Conrad was saying
certain
that I was
things
full
that
of
he
impressionist,
does.
and like where he had put Legoshi or where you or someone had put him on the chart, and I was just like that me because that character
me.
is me.
You did say that.
Yes.
Just the like some of the little like his eccentricities and the things he says or thinks. I'm like, yeah, that's some Victor shit. Very much. I like where the story is going. It's you see kind of what maybe the overarching plot is gonna be. You're starting to get hints of that.
Yeah.
It's just great. I fucking love Beastars. I love all the characters. It's so good.
It's fucking a masterpiece.
Yeah.
For sure. It is a very fucking great.
It's fucking excellent.
Especially if you want to fuck animals.
Especially if you're a fucking furry, which we know everyone is nowadays.
Yeah, everyone's
so.
a furry. Come on. Let's be real. We're all furries.
And I've been meaning to get back to Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw
Because I got
Man.
like, I'm only 15 chapters into it, because Shonen Jump has it all up for free on their app right now because of the pandemic.
Because
and,
of the baloney virus?
Because of the
everyone's
baloney
taking
virus?
this as an opportunity for advertisement.
Well, hey, it's working. Especially if I can read it all for free. Like, fuck yeah, dude. That's great. And I'd heard a lot of really good things about it from multiple people whose taste I trust. And it's pretty thus far, pretty fun. I mean, it is a shonen, for sure.
Got 'em, yeah.
But I'm interested to read more, and I need to get back to it. But obviously, all this fucking moving has
Yeah.
disrupted my ability to consume media, which is the primary point of my existence. So that's really unfortunate.
Yes, exactly. I exist to consume media. That is life.
But to be fair, in the downtime that we have spent while moving, I have casually rewatched Uncut Gems and Hereditary and The Lighthouse.
Yes.
So there is that.
Wonderful.
You know,
Uncut
like
Gems
you
is so
do.
fucking good.
I love
It's
Uncut
ridiculous.
Gems, dude. It's so good.
Definitely a must see for you movie fans out there. Uncut Gems there's nothing like it on the
It
fucking
is
planet. It's so insane.
Truly a singular experience.
Adam Sandler just fucking slays.
It's a movie for people who hate Adam Sandler.
Yes.
That's for sure. So good, man. We need to get it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Oof, got him. Fuck yeah.
There's
Fuck
just
this guy
so
up
much,
this time.
so much good. Fuck, I love it.
I had
It's
a much
free
harder
on
time with
Amazon
that guy.
Prime right now. Or no, Netflix. Even better. Go watch it. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, go fucking watch it. I was thinking the other day, because I've been rewatching all these movies. I was like, I do kind of miss the movie theater.
Yeah.
I do think like I should check what's playing in the theater, and then I'm like, fuck, that's right.
Yeah.
I can't do that because nothing's playing.
Especially because now we live even closer to the good theater that's
Yeah.
super cheap. So it'll be
Oh,
super
man.
convenient once it opens back up. But, you know, it'll just make it all the better once it comes back. Like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, that's very true. But I mean, it's also disappointing because there were a lot of movies I was looking forward to at the beginning of this
Yeah.
year.
But they'll come out eventually.
They will
you
come
know?
out
Like,
eventually. But you know, I sit there and I'm like, oh,
we
Saint
had a
Maud
lot
would
of
have
movies.
been out by now.
We had a lot of movies coming out, and it's fine that they'll get pushed back, you know?
But I
It'll be
mean,
fine.
what really matters is that Scoob still came out on VOD for $20, so we
Yeah.
could just watch.
We need to watch it illegally somewhere because I'm not gonna pay
Fuck
$20 for
no.
Scoob, but I
I
do
am
want to talk
not-
about Scoob.
I'm not paying
For the sake of
$20.
the algorithm, it would be very beneficial for us to talk about Scoob because it's a big shit on it Scooby-Doo property right now, and we already did a Scooby-Doo video, so like it's great timing to do that.
For sure. But yeah, I do miss movie theaters, and I am hyped for them to come back. I know
Yeah.
people are like, oh, fuck movie theaters. We don't need movie theaters. Like, no. Movie theaters have their place.
Yeah,
Don't
we're-
be like
We're
that.
theater fans,
Don't be that kind of person, man.
but we are movie boys. So
I guess that's true.
yeah. Way of the Warrior novice.
Way of the Warrior.
I am the warrior.
Is there anything that you have come to miss over the course of the quarantine, Victor?
No.
You don't miss going into a restaurant and sitting down to eat?
Yeah, I guess.
Because there's some food you can only that are it's in its peak form when you eat it that way. You know,
Yeah.
like you can't take out ramen. It's not the same. Because they separate everything.
Yeah.
And then when you get home,
Yeah,
sorry,
like when we went
it's
to we got some katsu curry from Oishi Burger, and it was just like, this is not the same as sitting and eating it. Like,
there's
it's
some
not as
stuff.
good.
You just gotta eat it in the restaurant while it's fucking fresh.
Yeah.
Like, boom, right
I look
there.
forward to that, coming back.
Yeah.
I mostly am just it's so thoroughly enjoying not having to actually work. UBI! UBI! UBI!
Man.
But that's just because I have such intense anxiety,
Yeah.
It's like, I do love the work I do, I enjoy my job. It's just like, when I haven't done it for a while, I get so fucking anxious about going back that I'm just like, I'm comfortable at home. I'm playing video games and doing YouTube. Doody-doo, responsibility, what? I just need to learn to interact with human beings again. I feel so
aside from
socially
that-
distant.
Nothing has really changed for me aside
Yeah.
from no movie theater and no dine-in.
Yeah, you've still been
So-
working. Which is good, because the longer you're not working, the longer you feel so, like, uncomfortable with the idea of going back. Because it's like summer break, and you're like, oh god, I gotta go back to
Oops.
school. Fuck. Well, that was dumb.
Lol.
That was
Walked
that
right
was
into the
that was
water.
funny.
Brilliant. Hey, if you guys have any recommendations for manga, go ahead and drop them in the comments section. I need to get back into reading some fucking manga. I've been slacking.
Yeah.
I would really like to. I should probably try The Promised Neverland. I bet I would probably actually enjoy it. But
True.
I'm lazy as shit.
Mayhaps.
I'm trying to
Ooh.
curate the manga that I actually physically collect because we just don't have the space for me to
Double check our recording real quick.
go out and fucking buy things willy-nilly. There's just not enough shelf space in our life anymore. In our somewhat minimalist life.
Okay, we doing good. Still recording. Yep.
Heyo.
I kinda need to pee and drink water. Can I have a sip of your rehab? Just a sip. Give me a sip. Give me a sip. Give me a sip.
You gotta drink it out of my mouth.
No!
Ew, backwash.
What are you doing? That's so stupid. Hope love to tease me about backwash. You backwash. Sound like fucking.
My
middle
mom
school
used to do
child.
that shit to me all the time.
Yeah. Anyway, I have some more on the
The cat.
topic of moving.
Look at him go! I love him.
He's the best.
He's so
He's
cute.
rolling around.
I
He's
love
a
it.
goofball. Look at all these fucking graves we can raid. Oh Jesus.
God damn.
Oh.
Bitches be dying.
Okay. Anywho, as I was
Anyway.
saying, on the subject of moving, I've always, I have lots of strange emotions around moving houses because I've done
Yeah.
it so much. And, in my adulthood, it's kind of become more complicated because, throughout my childhood, we moved a lot and, I got used to it,
Yeah.
I became more excited about moving than fearful of moving because anywhere we moved it always sucked,
Yeah.
It's we always never had friends at school. We always didn't really know the area. the house, there's something always wrong with whatever house you live in, you know?
Of
And so
course.
you're almost always like, yeah, cool, we're moving again, sweet, after a certain point. So, like, the houses, like, we lived in a house for a really long time, when I was, like, 5 to 8. That was the longest throughout my childhood that I ever lived in a house, was, like, from the age of 5 to 8 or
Yeah.
9. So that one was really sad to leave at that time. And, like, there was another house when I was 10 or 11, during the golden age of TV anime, that I really, really loved living there. We had a cool neighborhood. I had some friends who lived close by, and we'd go on lots of adventures. It was just a cool place. I don't think my parents have fond memories of being in that area.
Uh-oh.
But I have a lot of fond memories of being there, and so I missed that a lot. But, like, every time we moved, that was it. Like, the house was gone, you know?
Yeah.
In one day, we packed up all our shit and moved to a new house, and we were gone, you know?
Right.
I never had to see that house again. It's not until I became an adult where really the first time is with my parents' house, which we lived in for like 10 years or something, you know? Like, that's by far the longest I've ever lived anywhere, is that house. Mm-hmm. I think it was like 8 years, I'm not sure. But after I moved out, it was fine, because my parents still lived there, you know? I didn't miss the house at all. I moved in
'Cause
with
you
you.
could go back whenever you wanted.
And it was just like, all right, my parents are still here. Now it's my parents' house, and it's cool. It wasn't until my parents left and went to California and the house was empty, and I had to keep going back all the time. Like, it's fine at first, you know, the parents move away and you're like, okay, whatever, house gone, new house, whatever. But it's the having to go back over and over again, where it's like, I already parted with this place in my mind, you know? I already moved on, I left it behind, but then you have to go back. And the weirdest part of going back to a house where you lived is that it feels like you're coming home, you know? In your head, in your subconscious, you are walking home and entering your house.
Yeah.
And so every time I walked into my parents' house, because I kept having to go back to, like, replace air filters or take out trash and do tons and tons of
Various
work,
tasks.
because I was the one who lived the closest and had, I guess, the most time to go do that, because
You were the one who would actually go do
yeah,
it.
I'm
Let's
the
just
one who
put it
they
that
could
way.
rely on to go do it. So I kept having to go back and go back and go back, and every time I'd be like, all right, this is the last time, buy house, this is the last time, buy house. And every time it just became more and more, like, difficult, because it's hard to believe that you're leaving that place, you know? Mm-hmm. It never feels like this is going to be the last time you see it. You keep feeling like you're going to come back. I kind of had that with, like, my university when I was leaving there.
Oh,
where I
that's
was like,
interesting. I
yeah.
never felt nostalgic for any of my colleges.
Well, I spent a lot of time
You
at
did.
school, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
and
true.
and like with those people in sort of the area. So it was a little weird leaving it after 4 years, and then, like, there was a period of time where, like, even after college, like, I still go back all the time and work with my professors and stuff.
Right.
So, like, I'm there all the time. And when I thought I was moving away, there was a certain point where I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be here anymore. I'm gonna miss the people here and stuff. But then I still go there all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that feeling has changed. But, like, you know, I think it's because I've never had anything really permanent, you know, as a kid, that the things that are permanent now, like, really, really stick with me, you know? But, so now I get to experience that with our newest house.
Yeah.
Because-
I was the one who got hit by that first, though.
Yeah,
Because I
well-
was getting sad even when we were boxing up our stuff.
That's the thing. I don't get sad when I'm moving out. I feel, like, excited and relieved and, like, yeah, fuck this place, let's get out of here. That's how I've always felt about moving, you know? So when we were getting out, I was like, no, this is awesome, this is exciting, we're packing everything up, I'm ready to go. But then when I come back a week later, and I haven't been there in a week, and it feels like I'm walking into my house, you know? That's when I get really fucking sad. So, like, we came back once, and we had to clean the whole place out, and, like, I wasn't sad yet because it was so dirty, and so just like, oh yeah, we made a good decision, we got the fuck out of here. But then when I came back by myself to recock the tub and finish cleaning the bathroom,
Yeah.
like, I just had to sit on the floor for a little while and just feel out the emotion of being in the house, and I just felt like I could just, like, feel all the memories I had with you in the walls, and just all the happiness in the love that we had in that house, and just how much pride I felt You know, for the first few years living there, before the last year of it kind of sucking.
Yeah.
Like, I felt so proud and so happy to be there, you know? It's just, it's emotional. It's a lot. And so I go back in every time and I'm just like, fuck, here I am coming back to my house, you know? My house that I love, that I have all these great memories in. And it doesn't feel like it's going to be the last time, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to process that. It's a trip. And I never had to experience that as a kid because we would just move and it would be gone. And I never had to see that house again. I never saw that neighborhood again, you know? It's trippy and it's interesting, you know?
Yeah.
There was a phantom pain I felt sitting in the living room with none of our stuff there. And just like I can picture so vividly where all that stuff goes and what we would do and like us cuddling on the couch and stuff. And it's like I feel the ghost of that shit in the house when I'm there. And it's trippy. And like I come here and I feel fine because I'm with all of our stuff and I'm with you and we're just in a new house. Nothing has changed, you know? Like just because we moved places doesn't mean like those emotions aren't going to transfer over to this new house, you know?
Right.
But it is like I feel like a weird spiritual importance on like us having a really positive initial experience to like set the tone of going forward in the house. Like I want to feel proud of it, you know? I want to feel deep pride and joy living here in the beginning so that we can take that positivity throughout the rest of the house, you know, and be like, I love this fucking house. Like I used to love the previous house, you know?
Yeah.
I'm getting into like fucking weird, hilarious, like sappy emotional boy shit, but I get weird and superstitious sometimes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's hard and it's been stressful, you know.
Yeah,
so
it's been a stressful time moving in.
It's been stressful
you know?
here, so when you go back to the old house and you
Yeah.
feel that, it's like, oh, I missed that.
Exactly. It's like, man, because there's almost that like melancholy feeling of like, why did we leave? You know, like I
Yeah.
love this place. Why did we leave? And then you just have to remember like the day-to-day tedium of it, you know, and the stuff where it was like, and the fact that it hasn't changed. Like this place is just as good, you know. It's just uncomfortable right now because it takes so, because the house is bigger and we have more stuff. And we want to make sure that we have good stuff moving in.
Yeah.
It's just taking a lot longer to get it together. Versus
Yeah.
before it was like,
Well-
oh, we can conveniently just go to the thrift store and buy whatever. And it's like a
Yeah,
temporary thing in our
exactly.
life, you know? But this is sort of the spot where we go, you know, we're going to be here for a while. We want it to be really nice. I'm done with temporary shit, you know? I've bought temporary filler furniture my whole life. We're adults now. We have some money. We could buy good stuff. We could make things really work from the beginning so that we aren't like holding on to a bunch of like shitty shelves and
Yeah.
stuff and trash that we're just arbitrarily holding on to for a long time.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
I explained in my
Well, I
vlog,
mean-
like anytime you move, you're gonna make some early concession that's just gonna stick the whole time. Like it'll never change. You're gonna be like, oh, I'll put this shelf here, and then later we'll get a new shelf, and that shelf will stay the whole time we live in a house, you know? Like our TV situation at the last house, where we just had a bookshelf under it, and like, just kind of stuff thrown on it, you know? Like the router and stuff, like half falling off, and it's like this mess of cables, and it's like...
It was intense, yeah.
and that would have never changed in the whole
Yep,
time we
it would
lived
have
there.
just been that way.
Because you get used to it and you kind of block it out. So, like, that's what I'm trying to avoid here and getting everything fixed immediately so that we don't just end up getting used to
Yeah.
things how they are and not changing it. And then just having, like, this dumb little inconvenience that, like, we never get around to doing because we get so busy with other stuff, you know?
You don't just concede and say, oh, well, we'll take care of it in a month when we're, you know,
Yeah.
more settled in.
Because there will never be a point where it's easier and more comfortable, you know? You
Yeah.
think, like, oh, we'll get comfortable and then we can do this. No.
Probably
The
not.
sooner you do it, the better, because the next thing's going to come along and it's going to get more complicated.
Yeah.
There's riots in the streets now. Like, oh, we thought the coronavirus was ending and things are going back to normal. Well, now people are burning down Targets. And, like, you
Well,
can't predict
they're
what the future's
looting the
going to
Target.
have.
They're
Yeah.
burning down the autos.
Oh, true. Fuck AutoZone.
So,
You know,
that's-
Target. They'll restock, but we need it. That's essential. You don't want to fuck the Target. You know, it employs a lot of people. But AutoZone, fuck AutoZone.
I mean, you know, AutoZone. Have you ever met an AutoZone employee that you liked? No.
Yeah. In their defense, that AutoZone had just been built and there was nothing in it yet.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that was an empty AutoZone. But not justifying the looting and shit. I have lots of mixed opinions on this. That we'll save.
Either way, on the note of the melancholy of moving,
Yeah.
that was the second house
Oh!
I had lived in over the course of my entire life, and I had
Yeah.
also lived there for a year by myself before Victor moved in. So that was like the first place I ever had where I had like, you know, total control,
Yeah.
and I was able to make it just completely my kind of comfortable environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very sad for me.
And it's
to
so
leave.
like, I wish we didn't have to leave, and I wish that house were perfect, and I wish we could have just bought it, and I wish I could have built another room on it, you know, and just stayed there, but it just wasn't gonna happen, you know?
Yeah.
There's too much bullshit, too much inconvenience. It's a rental place. We're throwing our money away. The landlord's a dick. Like,
The
you know.
landlord would never have sold that place because it's such an easy $900 a month. Why would
Yeah.
you give that up? Like, makes no sense.
There's just like you gotta move on in life, you know, for various reasons, and then it's just like be satisfied with the memory of what you had, you know, which is nice. Now it's immortalized as a positive experience in a positive place, which I didn't want to leave there on like a negative note where I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck that place, because like we loved it, you know.
Yeah.
And now I just think back to like pictures I took of you on the front porch, and I'm just like, fuck, I love this.
That's the nature of getting old, I
Yeah,
suppose.
but like that's, you know, there's a joy in remembering your first house and being like, man, it was so nice and it was so sweet and I love you, you know. I'm glad we get to have those positive memories, just like my parents remember their first place with us where they like actually put effort into decorating and stuff, and then like I think that's part of why they didn't put a lot of effort into the other places we lived, because
they knew they were
did,
gonna
you know,
move.
like initially they did put effort into a place and then they had to move a million times, so
Mm-hmm.
like you get to that point where you feel kind of jaded on it, which is why I didn't put much effort into like redesigning our last house. So it was like, well, this isn't ours. Like, why would I put
Yeah.
any effort into
There's
this?
no point in...
You know?
Yeah.
Which is why now I'm like, let's do this shit. Let's soup this house out and make it really, really cool.
It's such a trip to me that your parents had such like almost like a vagrant lifestyle. Like they moved so much.
Nomadic.
And they were able to like just pick up and go all the like so
Yeah.
frequently.
Well, so for my mom, the house we lived in on where they lived last and moved out of was the longest she ever lived in a house her entire life.
yeah.
She
you
she
guys were
moved
there
just as much as we did, if
almost
not
a decade,
more.
right?
You know, yeah. So like that's the longest she ever lived in a place. So for her, getting up and moving is no fucking problem. You know, she's never had a problem. She's done it her whole life. Like she fucking drove off to California when she was 17. And like
And just
had that
never looked
adventure,
back,
you know,
yeah.
and well, she did come back.
Well,
but,
you know what I
yeah.
mean.
But you know, she moved out when she was 16 or 17 and never looked back. She doesn't give a fuck about leaving things behind. My dad had a fucking crazy turbulent childhood, you know. I don't think he
Yeah.
moved as much, but like his parents,
But it
like,
sounds
he
like
was-
his situation
yeah.
was very stressful.
like his mom divorced his dad when he was a baby, and then he was adopted by another dad, and they got divorced, and then his mom locked herself in her room for 4 years while he was in high school and never came out, and they just had to bring her food and stuff, and she smoked cigarettes constantly, and like he had a fucked childhood. So like they are the kind of people that like their life was fucked. Of course they grew up to be nomads, you know?
Yeah.
And so like my dad initially was in the Navy, so he had to move a lot for that. And then when he got out, it was just like, you know, they lived young 90s fucking turbulent lifestyle. And it's part of that, like, my dad's always had dissatisfaction whenever he's doing, because like he was a fucking wayward youth who joined the military out of high school because he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and then he got out and didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and then he fell into like being a car salesman because he was real good at it and made a lot of money, but he doesn't like doing it, you know. He
Yeah.
hates it on a moral level, like being a salesman and basically
It's just
lying
what
to
he's
people and
good at.
misleading people. Yeah, it's just he's so fucking
He's so
affable.
personable, yeah.
He's so personable that he's fucking great at it. And he moved up that chain, and then he tried to get out so many times. That's part of why we moved so much, is that he kept trying to get out of the car business.
Right.
But then, like, we were just so fucking poor anytime he did that he had to go back, you know?
Yeah.
Because he would just realize that, you know, taking care of his kids was more important than his own personal happiness. And that's the path he went down, and that's why we moved so much, you know? And it was a lot of, like, self-sacrifice because you put yourself in the position where you have kids, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like
That's like
once
the
you have
harsh
kids,
reality of being a parent is that like you're gonna have to do a lot of shit that makes you unhappy or you don't want to do it.
Yeah, but that's the responsibility you take on when you created a life that you have to take care of.
Yeah,
you know?
no, totally. Yeah, totally justified.
Yeah, it just bothers me when some parents, which my parents do not do this, act like giving birth to a person is ruined their life and it's their fault. And it's like, it's not your fault. They made the decision or the mistake to have you, and they fucking have to live with that, and that's why I don't want to have kids, because I'm selfish, you know?
But then people give you shit for that. So it's like, well,
exactly.
You can't win.
It's
There's
like, I'm
no winning
I'm
this
not
argument.
a person who's gonna be a good parent because I will always be selfish. And like, I can't even handle my own day-to-day life without a kid, you know?
Exactly. I guess it's just, it comes down to having the self-awareness to know yourself. You know, if that's a sacrifice that you know you can make and you're willing to make, then awesome, great.
Yeah.
If not,
If
don't
that
have
gives
kids.
you a purpose, you know?
Easy. Don't do it.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, I'm selfish.
The world is going to be so much better with if you can reduce the number of kids that are raised by miserable parents.
Yeah.
It's so much better to have parents that are like gonna be stoked to do this, you know? You don't want parents who are like, oh god, I have to fucking take care of this piece of shit.
Exactly. You gotta know what
You
you're getting
made
into.
me give up my freedom. And it's like, no, the kid didn't make you do anything, buddy.
There are people who
You
are definitely
chose that.
like cut out for it, and not everyone is.
Exactly.
Not even my own parents
but
who
society
were good
cannot
at it.
recognize that, so
Yeah. That is a frustrating angle of people who demand child rearing. I think there's so much yelling outside
there's
right now.
definitely some yelling going on out there.
Fucking, I guess it's Saturday, you know?
But that's just such a trip that like that's how your parents kind of their mentality and the way they grew up, because my parents are such the opposite, like so fucking stable, have never like haven't moved since they were like 25, always had the same like, well, my mom went to school when I was pretty little, but always worked in the same field, had stable jobs, like nothing changed.
Yeah. And it, you know, it shows you they're very different perspectives on certain things, where it's like, yeah, my parents have lived like the liberal lifestyle. Like,
your parents have very turbulent past.
like they have experienced a lot of shit in their life and had tons of experiences.
I think your parents have very turbulent past, and my mom's is somewhat turbulent, but once she like was taken in by her foster family and they settled in here, it became a little less so.
Yeah.
And my dad has had a very stable,
He is like
super stable
the
childhood
portrait
growing up.
of the American dream, conservative, stable person. You know, like it seems like his whole childhood was pretty normal.
He had the most normal, most stable childhood that you possibly could.
And his family is like very together and very super mega family. You know, like close.
Yeah.
Whereas my whole family is fucked. Everyone's insane. No one speaks to each other a lot of the time. It's just like total chaos all the time.
It's very much proof that you are like a product of your nature, but also your upbringing.
Yeah. I think your mom really loves your dad's family and how close they are, and kind of latches onto that.
Yeah.
And really wants to be a part of that, because I don't think her family is that way. From what I've seen,
It's
you know,
just
her
because
foster family.
her family is so far away,
Yeah.
and they're such like, for context, my mom's part of the family. She's adopted, so they're not like my blood related family. But they live in Indiana, and they're so far away, and they're such like backwoods hillbilly folk.
Yeah.
That's just what they are.
It was fucking
They
hilarious the
would
one time I
never-
met them. Oh my god.
The
They're
only
like
time-
fucking hand churning like ice cream and butter and stuff. And I'm like, what the like this guy brought like a wood thing to churn ice cream in. I'm like, this is insane.
my
And
grandpa-
there was a baby drinking Mountain Dew out of like a bottle. And the mom is like nursing a baby on Mountain Dew. It was fucking like, whoa.
These dudes-
like Squidbilly shit.
These dudes are like a parody of themselves, Indiana hillbillies.
Yeah.
Like, they build stock cars from junk parts from the scrapyard and race them on the weekends kind of hillbillies. That's who these people are.
That's fucking awesome. And there was one guy
I've only seen these dudes once in my life. And that was at my grandfather's funeral, because that was the only thing that could coax them out of Indiana to come to Virginia for the
So you
funeral.
had only met some of them that one time.
I had only seen them once in my whole life.
Holy shit.
I had
Amazing.
never met most of the people that were at that
Yeah.
funeral.
Cause I was just like, who the fuck are these guys?
I didn't know who the fuck those guys were.
Nice.
And to be fair, we're not blood related, thank God.
Uh-huh.
Because aesthetically,
Ooh, yeah.
would have been a little bit, the gene pool, maybe a little shallow on that side of the family.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Oh
pretty
boy.
comical.
Ooh-wee.
They were like the American redneck equivalent of like fucking Amazonian woodland people, you know, like
Yeah.
forest people.
I would look very different if they were my true genetic
Yeah.
ancestors. And I'm very blessed that that's not the case.
They were like a real question of nature versus nurture in terms of obesity.
Ooh, the
It's
genetic
like,
obesity
is this
strong in that
genetic
family.
or are they fucking feeding babies Mountain
Hey,
Dew?
hey.
Literally like feeding them Mountain Dew.
I am a firm believer that you can breed obesity into your gene pool, and that is my
Oh,
my
God.
case study.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like that's a whole thing. That doesn't
Jesus
really matter.
Christ, I'm getting my ass kicked. I gotta pee again.
Oh my god, what is this number
It's a
2?
monster, because I was starting drinking more water because I was feeling bad. And I
Yeah.
need to drink more water again.
All right.
Terrible.
There you go.
Pee-pee.
BB. But yeah, there are some real interesting. Oh boy, that was an interesting funeral to attend. Yeah, they churn their own ice cream by hand. It's pretty good ice cream, to be fair. I mean, I don't know that it's better than like Cold Stone, but pretty good ice cream. It's just our families are so different. It's such a trip that we ended up being so similar.
Continue.
Oh man. But oh yeah, and then this past week Victor and I have come to the conclusion that our families will likely never meet.
Oh, yeah.
Because now Vic's parents are in California, my parents are here. Our wedding party will possibly never happen. So they'll never have an excuse to meet.
Yeah.
So very, very likely. My coworkers brought up to me, we were talking immediately after I got married, and they were like, "Oh, so how do your parents feel about his parents?" And I was like, "Oh, they've never met." And they looked at me like I had two heads. And I was just like, "They've never met." And they were like, "They've never like gone out. You've never had like family dinners." And I was like, "No." And he's like, "You've never thought to do that?" And I was like, "No."
Some people
So,
don't need to meet, you know?
Our families will probably never meet. That's just a
It's such
fucking trip.
a
It's
weird
hilarious.
question of, like, should they meet? Because they're so different. But, like, you know, my parents are pretty tolerant. Your parents are pretty tolerant in person.
In
you know?
person.
On Facebook,
They will shit on
they
you
would definitely,
when you're not around.
yeah. But, like, you know, my parents have a lot of charisma. I'm sure they could hang out. It'd be fine. And then
I'm sure
your
they'd be
parents can
fine.
just make fun of them when they're gone.
Yep.
And it would be okay. I feel like your parents would probably be too afraid to like stoke them with Trumpisms or anything.
My dad wouldn't. My mom's a wild card. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Same
don't
with
know
my mom.
anymore.
It's like my dad is not even like anti-Trump that hardcore, you know? So it's like I don't think it would be that much of a problem, but like with my mom, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's the moms that are a wild card for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe we won't ever even have to worry about it
Yeah.
because who knows if they'll ever meet.
I really have no idea. My parents never expressed any interest of meeting your parents either. Which is odd.
Which
you know?
is so bizarre because if you stop and think about it, like my mom has been to your parents' house.
Yeah.
She came to pick me up once when I was too drunk to drive home.
Oh yeah.
She's been
Yeah.
to your parents' house, and they just like never met.
Maybe they did meet that night.
Did they?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't
I don't
remember.
think they like spoke. You know?
Yeah.
Like I think I went out to my
Oh
mom's
yeah, your mom probably
car,
didn't come out of her car.
and I like went home.
Yeah, that would be a very your mom thing to do, is stay in the car
Yep.
and not say hi. Even though like all of my other friends' parents have met my parents, you know.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Fucking Christ, this is a bitch. There, I need to break out the tonfas.
Uh-oh. It's Tonfa time.
But anyways,
'Cause it's
on the subject
time again.
of our families never meeting, that transitions us into the elephant in the room, which I wanted to address at some point. But I do want to like, I don't know, this is so difficult. But everyone's gonna keep asking about us about it, and I doubt me and they shall have a actual conversation about it in real life before we talk about it on fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Because I found out about this through fucking Twitter. But you know, the transition. Let's get into it.
Transition.
It's weird. It's hard for me to gather my thoughts on, and I really don't want to like say the wrong shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, Conrad Digibro has transitioned into Gray the Diginay.
See, that flows nicely.
Yes, Gray the Diginay. And it's tricky because obviously, like, I don't care what he does with his life, you know, and I'm very, you know, it's no surprise.
Sure.
We all know it's no surprise. Everyone saw this coming. It's been a long time coming. It's been obvious in like
on the proverbial wall.
The proverbial writing was on the proverbial wall. I had my suspicion as soon as he was wearing nail polish in videos. I was like, I think I know where this is going.
I know a lot of dudes that wear nail polish.
I know, but it got my suspicion going, and then I was right. So that paid off. But anywho, like, obviously, you know, totally supportive of the transition. I think at the end of the day, if it helps Gray take care of herself, then it is a net positive. You know, if the artist formerly known as Conrad gets in shape, cleans up, and respects her body, then it is fucking a vast net positive to me. That's all I've ever wanted, was for him to take care of himself, you know? And I've been on that train for years. I've given him constant shit for so long. I'm happy with this direction, assuming that it goes that way.
Yeah.
As long as weight is lost, shit is gotten together, you know? I don't want the transition to be half-assed. I don't want it to just be like, lol, I'm a girl now, and I'm gonna shave more, and that's it. Like, I want full transitioning happening, you know? I wanna see some tits grown. I wanna see some weight loss. I wanna see some skirts worn.
The tits require hormones, so that's
what I'm saying.
Time.
You know, I know it takes time, but that's like my biggest emotion on this is just like, I want to get into the word transition and how important that is as part of this. Because there's, from the perspective of like Twitter and from like the coming out, it's the flip of a switch. It's, I am out now, I am a girl. And so, like, the biggest struggle for me, having lived 27 years with a big brother, you know, a big brother named Conrad, who is a very big part of my life and always has been, like, the part where I'm struggling now is just the pronoun in the name. That's the only struggle I have. Otherwise, it's like, you know, I'm fucking totally supportive.
Sure.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a net positive. I'm excited for the direction this is heading in, you know. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not upset at all. I'm never going to tell anyone how to live their life.
Yeah.
I'm a strong proponent of if you love someone, let them do whatever the fuck they want, and they'll figure out what's important in the end, you know?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. You can never convince someone of what they should do, and you don't know what they should do. Only they know, you know?
Yeah. I think the struggle is really just that you've spent 27 years, and humans are a creature of habit. So those ruts that you've gotten into of referring to Gray in a certain way, by a certain gender, by a certain name, like, that's going to be a really hard habit to break. And there does have to be sort of a grace period for the people who are close to the person transitioning for them to adjust, you know? It's, like you say, it's not like online where people who are, like, parasocial to you can flip that switch and they just are like, all right. Yeah. New name, new gender, I got you, dog. It's like when you're dealing with family and people who are in that very close proximity, it's different. You got to give them a little bit of grace. You got to give them a little leeway to reestablish their habits to, you know, what you are requesting. It's not that they don't want to do it. It's just there is an adjustment period.
Yeah.
And just like with a transition.
I'm uncomfortable with the feeling of it right now, where it feels like self-censorship. Where it's like, if me and you are sitting on the couch in my fucking house and I'm talking about Conrad, like, it feels really weird for me to say she, her, and Gray, you know? Like, that for me, I'm not there yet.
Sure.
And part of it's like, when I go on Twitter, it's fucking easy. It's like Diginay, female icon, like, that identity I can easily accept because it's through a layer of abstraction that is Twitter, and like I can accept it really fast, but then it's like it happens for me for all like trans creators that we follow, you know. It's like the further into the transition they get, the more easier a time I have
becomes.
like using the pronouns and using the new names and shit. It's just like it's too soon. It's only been like 10 days or something.
Yeah, it hasn't even been a month, you know.
And like I can't self-correct myself yet. You do a great job of
I
doing
try
it.
to be really mindful.
Yeah, you're really mindful.
But she's not my sibling. So
Yeah.
for me, I have a layer of removal. It's easier for me than it is for you.
Yeah, but it's like this is a fucking horrid example, but it's like saying the N-word in private, you know, where it's like I'm not gonna say the N-word, the phrase, if it's just me and you on the couch, you know, I'm gonna say the word.
This is incriminating. Be
Yeah,
careful.
it is incriminating, but it's like no one is watching you, you know.
Yeah.
Why are you self-censoring? And then, like, I get getting into the habit of using the right thing is going
Yeah.
to make me more comfortable saying it.
Yeah, I think doing it in private around each other is going to make it easier for you to do it
Yeah.
in public.
And it is like, you know, they're trying to hang out and like, I do think hanging out and being around each other in public is going to help. I think the more she gets good at using the voice is going to help because, like, you know, I'm very fucking, I get very annoyed by Conrad doing voices.
Yeah.
I always have been. It just gets under my skin. And
just
so
brother
it's going to take me
syndrome.
some time. I think he's doing a good job of, like, not trying to go too femme and just, like, making it kind of natural.
Yeah.
I think if hormones are involved, it'll transition more naturally and it'll sound good.
But hormones are a big step and that can take time.
Yeah.
Like there's medical consultation that you need to do. There's a lot that goes into getting on hormones. So it's not something
Yeah.
you can walk down to the Walmart and, you know,
I'm just
grab
like,
estrogen.
you know, like I'm not a huge supporter of someone just arbitrarily deciding that they are a female now without taking any steps, and she
Sure.
is taking steps.
Sure.
Like makeup is being put on, you know, aesthetics are being changed. So like, yes, there's no part of me doubting that it's sincere and that it's gonna continue and that this is the new life. You know, I'm not trying to throw any fucking shade. It's just for me, mentally, like, changing the names and the pronouns is very fucking hard right now, and it will become easier over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
just like anything.
Like, it's just odd, and I feel like an asshole for being that way, but then it's also, like from a perspective of being kind, I feel like an asshole, but also from the perspective of Conrad, my brother, it's like, I don't really think that me being that way really matters. Like, me not giving Conrad shit for a life decision is kind of stupid. Like, I will criticize anything else she does. So, like, why would I not give her shit about this, you know? Like, that's
just
family
your
brotherly love.
relationship
Like,
dynamics, though.
yeah.
That has nothing to do with you being like a transphobe or anything like that.
exactly. It's like, you know, it's so complex, and like, I was trying to give it a lot of time before saying anything about it publicly. You know, it's been a little bit now, but I do think my thoughts on it are interesting, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have an experience that not a lot of people necessarily have, and so
Yeah.
sharing that experience is valuable, especially to people who are adjusting to lives with people who've transitioned, you know?
And I was kind of feeling like maybe we need to talk personally first, but like, I don't really think Gray is the kind of person who really gives a shit about that. For
Yeah.
instance, I found out about this through fucking Twitter, so like, I don't feel like I owe her that much of like a personalized conversation about this, especially because I have no opposition to give. I'm not shocked in any way. You know,
Yeah.
I think she probably talked to our parents
Yeah, I think
about
she
it.
did.
Because my mom had messaged me on Facebook like, what do you think? Were you surprised as us? I'm like, no, I'm not surprised at all. Like, this was super fucking obvious to me, you know? It was just a matter of time, and it probably should have happened a long time ago, you know?
Sure, yeah.
If this were, you know, if the, like she has said, if the awareness of this were at the level that it is now about trans issues when she was in high school, this would have happened a long time ago, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I do think, like, you know, call it controversial as an idea, but like that the coming out could have been more gradual. I don't know, but that's a personal thing.
I don't know, but I feel like for a lot of people,
guess-
it is like that.
And like you do just kind of need to jump in, and I don't know how long this has been on the table, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I do kind of know
Well, I
because the
was like,
neurotyping
but,
inspired
like,
this.
kind of.
Like, that's not that much of a mystery, but like for me, it's like, for making such a dramatic change, it's like, you know, Conrad's always been really uncomfortable with his identity, which I will talk about because now I'm talking about Conrad. I'm not talking about Gray. If I'm talking in the past tense, I'm going to say Conrad, because that makes sense, because Conrad did those things.
Yeah,
Gray did not do
like
those things.
That makes sense, because you can't erase
yeah.
a person's past.
Exactly. Like, if I'm talking about the past, I'm gonna say Conrad, and I'm gonna use he, because he was Conrad back then, you know? But, like, so much of this has to revolve around Conrad's discomfort over his personal image, and, like, you know, he's always been kind of disgusted with himself. He's obviously never felt comfortable in men's clothing, hence the sweatpants and the shirts. He can't stand wearing jeans and shit. Like, we've always known this. It's been a constant through our whole life. But he never tried really getting his shit together, like, in terms of personal image and, like, getting in shape and all that, you know? Yeah. And, like, I kind of wish that were a step taken first as, like, a last attempt to be, like, are you actually fine with this? You just hate the way you look and you can change it, you know? But I do think it's deeper than that, and I do think that's kind of like a almost a cop-out way to think about it, you know? Like, that's an easy way out. But it's like, for me, before I do anything, I try every option, you know?
Sure.
Like, I would just really try to reform the image before taking the very dramatic step to becoming a woman, you know?
Mm-hmm. But I think everyone's approach is going to be different, because everyone's personality, like, your personality and Conrad's personality are very different. So it doesn't surprise me that the way you would approach this is different from the way she would.
Where I would probably, like, start doing all that a lot and see how comfortable I am before I make the coming out, you know, and make it serious to everyone else, and kind of, like, let people kind of speculate on, like, okay, I think I see where this is going, you know? Like, someone like Nick Spears did that, basically.
Yeah.
Where she was transitioning for a long time before she came out about it.
Yeah.
And it helped the change feel really natural. It made you feel like, okay, well, obviously you're moving this direction and you really like doing this, you know?
Right, it's making you happy. It's improving your quality of life.
Like, you tested the waters before you went in whole ham. And, like, you know, but that's not the Conrad way of doing things, and it never has been.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's personality,
like, you always go whole ham.
Different.
And it's like, you know, I'm empathetic with the struggle. I think it's real. I think it's sincere. I doubt that there's many people who think it's insincere, you know?
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of gets it if you've been following Conrad for a long time. And I do want to be supportive. I want to voice my support here, because I know he's going to watch this. I am supportive, you motherfucker, alright?
So supportive.
I'm showing my support, and then there's part of me, like, it sunk in the best. Like, at first we were a little skeptical, as anyone would be when it was just a Twitter announcement. Yeah. And then when there was the May doing the makeup video, it's where I saw, like, I could see the vulnerability in Gray's face, you know? And, like, I've known this person my entire life. I know, like, as much as she hides her emotions and puts up walls and does all this shit, and, like, I empathize with the fact that I think she's trying to tear down walls and be more empathetic and be more real with people, and that's good.
Yeah.
And, like, as much as I know that, like, seeing her in that makeup video, I saw the insecurity and sort of the uncertainty of, like, I'm doing this, you know? Like, oh, people are going to see me putting on makeup, and people are going to judge the way I look, and people are going to talk about, are they going to call me ugly when I become a woman, you know? And I think the fact that she passed so well with the makeup on and did the whole goth look did really mean something, and I see that vulnerability and that sincerity, and that makes me, you know, really, like, yeah, fucking, you go, girl, I'm here to support you. And then there's some moments where I remember who my brother is. I'm like, you know what? But also, that motherfucker. That pain in the ass son of a bitch. Just because you're a woman now doesn't mean you aren't still kind of a fucking pain in the ass fucking piece of shit. And I'm waiting for the rap songs and the ego to come out in full force. Like, this is a temporary moment of vulnerability before full force ego comes into play. Once the aesthetic has been figured out, and then I'm very excited to see the new wave of, like, fuck you, I'm a woman. I'm a woman rap songs coming out, and the really leaning into the trans identity. It's gonna be interesting. For Gray watching this, I really recommend you catch up on ContraPoints, because I think that's going to help you through a lot of like the dysphoria and sort of future feelings that are going to be had, because I think ContraPoints has covered the trans
every possible angle.
like the self-aware trans identity stuff so thoroughly that it's like, you know, be ready for like the reverse dysphoria that's gonna happen when you become a lady man or a man lady or whatever. I'm being obviously very offensive here for the sake of comedy.
It's a goof.
I don't know how you can both show trans support and also be like an asshole and funny at the same time.
But I mean, like, I feel like ContraPoints does that though. Like, she's very self-aware in that sometimes it's fucking funny, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's a meme.
Which is why ContraPoints is so good at getting people on the side of accepting trans nature, because there's such a transparency in the fact that there's no denial over like, you can acknowledge that ContraPoints was once a man, and like she comes at it from the perspective of like, this is what I'm feeling now after going through this transition, you know?
And it's constantly
I recognize that I am weird. I am not the norm. And like, people are gonna have difficulty understanding this, you know? Which ironically, fucking Conrad's lifelong quest of acceptance and understanding is something that like I have always understand everything that he's ever said, and I'm like, I don't really know where this no one understands you shit is coming from, because it seems like people usually fucking understand you, but here we go, you know, and now everyone's understanding the transition because they understand you, because you never shut the fuck up about yourself. Which is comical. Someone had made a comment about, like, you know, Connor was always a woman because he never shuts the fuck up for himself.
Yes!
I'm like, lol!
I was like, whoa.
But yeah,
like,
as long as some good shit-flinging can be had, then it's great, you know? Because I think shit-flinging is deserved, and shit-flinging brings everyone together when you can talk a little bit about shit about yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that makes everything smoother and more fun. As long as it's not like you're talking shit about yourself and degrading yourself for the sake of acceptance when it's making you uncomfortable. But I don't think that that Gray is a person who would experience that much, you know?
And no one in this universe should be so self-serious that they can't, you know,
take a little shit.
That.
It's like, I know if I
Everyone's
became a woman,
identity is goofy somehow. Get real.
Like, I think my friends would accept me if I transitioned, but they would give me so much shit, and it would be funny, and I would take it, you know? And it would be good.
You gotta look at the situation through eyes of realism and be like, yeah, this is kind of goofy. But also, you know, acceptance is important.
And our society is weird, and you are on the fringes of society, and most people will never understand. And that, like, I wanted to bring that back around to our parents, because now more than ever, I'm like, I don't think your parents ever need to meet my family.
That was what brought it on.
Yeah, they will not understand the transition. Like, we are all gonna be fine with this. Hope's parents will not understand. I don't think we ever need to tell them. No. I'm very on the fence about that, because that's going to be fucking difficult.
I think it's going to be completely irrelevant, and it won't be an issue.
And
but I don't intend on making it an issue either.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with that. I'm already like, oh god, this conversation with my friends is going to be an
interesting one.
Bizarre, but because most people just don't get it, you know? If you're not people who are on the internet and you don't know, like, people are just uneducated about it, you know? They don't know what motivates people to transition in the first place, and they don't get it.
Despite, you know, because we live in the bubble of, like, knowing internet culture, but also living in reality, whereas most people don't know shit about internet culture. They have no idea what's going on with, like, transgender culture, anything like that.
They're still thinking people who transition are insane and
and that they need like therapy, you know, to correct their gender.
I'm like, no, they don't need therapy. They just have autism, okay? They're all autistic.
They're just autistic.
And autism inevitably leads to gender transitioning. I don't know what it is. It's just the way of the world.
It's that extra chromosome, dude. It's the extra chromosome.
It's the extra chromosome. It's just like they just don't understand gender, and they all want to be women. I don't know what it is. Maybe all women are autistic. I'm not sure.
All women are autistic. But I mean, I think ultimately, at the end of the day, what it really just boils down to is what makes you happy and what makes you take care of your body more what motivates you to take better care of your
Yeah.
physical body? I mean, at the end of the day, is being transgender really any different than covering yourself in tattoos? Because those tattoos increase your sense of self-worth, they increase the beauty that you see in yourself, and they make you take better care of your body.
Yeah.
Is it any really different? I mean, obviously, socially it's different, but, like,
Yeah.
as far as the way you perceive yourself, it's like, it's just an enhancement to your physical form that you feel makes you, you know, more, it makes you love yourself more, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, being transgender is not something that is taken as lightly as getting a tattoo,
Yeah.
but it's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And it just doesn't fucking affect anyone but the person who's doing it, and it's none of your business, you know?
Exactly.
It does not fucking matter to you at all. Get used to it. Fucking get over it. This person's transitioning, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like, people can do whatever the fuck they want with their body and their life. You know?
Yeah.
As long as it fucking leads to a healthier mentality, which I think it will, you know? Then I'm quite happy about it. And I do want to say, like, call it me fucking coming out as gender fluid.
Oh, no.
But, like, I get it, you know? It's, like, I don't have any problem understanding why someone would want, like, why a guy would become a woman. I totally fucking get it. Like, I think if I were 11, you know, maybe I would have done the same thing, you know? Like, I think I'm comfortable. Like, the thing with me is that I'm far comfortable with myself now, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have the gender dysphoria, but, like, I totally fucking get it, you know?
Yeah.
I totally get, like, I think if I did transition, I would pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I think I would enjoy it, you know? That's what I want to say. Is that weird? I don't know, you know?
I think ultimately it kind of comes down to the extreme emphasis that our system places on, like, the binary of gender.
Yeah.
I think if we were to break that down a bit, it would soften the dysphoria that a lot of people feel.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I very much did not have any connection to anything feminine. For the first, like, 5 years that I cosplayed, I only cosplayed male characters.
Yeah.
I had one female friend. All the rest of my friends were male. I refused to wear pink. I refused to
You're
do
a
anything
tomboy.
remotely feminine because I just wasn't comfortable with that, and I hated women. Like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, if we broke down that binary, I think we would have a lot less, like, women hating themselves and hating other women. We'd have less men feeling like they were forced to be this, like, masculine fucking ideal of whatever. And we'd have people who were comfortable, like, if a guy wanted to be a guy but wear a skirt and have nail polish, it'd be cool. It'd be normal. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And it would just fucking eradicate a lot of the problems that we're feeling,
Yeah.
like, right
And
now.
the language is so fucking pointless and stupid and just, like, it's frustrating, but it's like, you know, I get it. Like, I've had the moments. I guess for me, it's like, if I transitioned, the dysphoria I would feel as a woman who kind of looks like a dude would be worse than what I feel at all now, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I would fucking hate the way I looked to a catastrophic extent. Like, I already think I look like shit now. If I tried to look like a woman, I would never be able to get over the fact that I look like a dude in a skirt, you know? Like, that part of the dysphoria is what confuses me, because I would never be able to do it. It's interesting. Not saying that I want to transition. It's just, like, speculatory and, like, empathizing with people because I think about it, you know? I think it's interesting. But I would look like a big, knobby dude in a fucking dress, and that would be worse. That would be worse than being a woman trapped in a male body to me. I don't know. It would feel fucking terrible. And ContraPoints has talked about that to an extent, too, of the dysphoria of once you transition, there's sometimes you just feel like a man in a skirt, you know, and you feel
Yeah.
like, do I look like a fucking idiot? And, like, I think that's an important emotion for people to come to terms with, you know?
Yeah, it takes time, for sure.
But, like, yeah, I get being 11 years old and looking like a girl, and, like, I think part of my hatred and wanting to be distanced from girls as a kid was that, like, I wanted to be a girl, you know? I liked looking like a girl. I liked the way girls look, you know? I've always been in that same boat of, like, of appreciating women aesthetically. I think, you know, there's if guys want to think deep about lesbian porn, it's like, You might have some gender confusion if you're really into lesbian porn, you know? You might be projecting yourself onto the girl a little bit. You might be like, maybe I want to be a girl making out with a girl, because I think men look disgusting, you know? There's dysphoria there. I don't know. Am I off on a fucking weird tangent now? Probably.
I think, you know,
I'm getting
said,
all my thoughts of the last 10 days out all at once. I'm just like, I get it, you know? I fucking get it.
Petition to eliminate the gender binary, and a lot of this wouldn't be a problem anymore.
Exactly. Fucking Christ. Make everyone look androgynous enough that they can fucking switch on a dime, you know? It's like, today I'm gonna be a girl and I'm a hot girl, you know? Fuck yeah, now I have tits. Sick.
If only life was so simple.
Yeah. How depressing would it be if I transitioned into a woman and my shoulders just never narrowed up and my fucking tits look awful?
Your
It's like
bones
the worst
is what
tits
they
in the world.
is,
Yeah,
you
your
know?
bones is what they is.
They're not changing.
I get a nose job and I look like shit. God, that would fucking suck. And then you'd be like, God, now I'm an ugly fucking woman, and I can't go back to being a handsome man because I've gone so far, and now I just have the ugliest tits in the world, and the fucking broad, fucking hideous shoulders. Oh God. And then I'm just constantly trying to seek attention on Instagram by making myself look like a QT goth and using face filters. Because I need someone to validate me, because when I look in the mirror, all I see is this disgusting fucking malformed abomination that I've become.
Hey, that's called body dysmorphia, and most of us have that.
Exactly. It's like, I feel like enough of a disgusting abomination right now, and I don't think I'm going to be able to improve it.
It's like, I definitely have body dysmorphia,
Yeah.
so, that's just life.
Just my treatment of body dysmorphia growing up was to try to become ripped, because I thought that was like, you know, the gender aesthetic I needed to conform to, and I never quite got there. But like, I would certainly try to become like a fucking ripped ass chiseled fucking Chad before I tried to become a woman, because I think like to fit, like my body would fit that aesthetic archetype more, because if it's just like, I think I'm ugly and I would like to be attractive, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where the dysphorias come from. I would try to become a sexy Chad first, and if I felt ugly and unattractive being a sexy Chad, then I would go, okay, I need to become a woman, you know? I think there would be steps to that if I were to take those steps, you know? Like, try the easier thing first, which is get ripped, you know?
Yeah,
you can go
easy.
back from getting ripped. Getting ripped, it only takes a couple months, and you can go right back to being a fat tub of shit if you want. It's not that hard, you know? There's no, like, there's no social stigmas attached to it. People will just be like, dude, you got ripped. Fuck yeah. Everyone will love
Just
you
like
for
a
it,
cutie
you know?
pie.
Exactly. It'll only be support, and no one will question anything, and you'll have to have no difficult conversations from getting ripped. It'll be fucking sick. And then if you still feel dysphoria after getting ripped, you know, the muscles can go away. It doesn't take that much time. The abs will go away. I hope this is at least a funny take. I am trying to be somewhat comical here.
I mean, you know, I think a lot of this does stem from wanting to be perceived as attractive, either to yourself or to other people. So, I mean, at the root, that's probably the base for a lot of these things.
But, like, I definitely get if you don't think an attractive, a ripped guy is an attractive aesthetic, then you would not think
everyone's definition of what's
way.
aesthetically attractive is different.
It's like, maybe you think you'd look gross. Like, I cannot imagine Conrad as a fit, ripped guy in jeans. Like, I can way more easily imagine him as a woman.
Yeah.
Way more easily imagine him as a girl than fucking as a ripped guy, you know?
Yeah.
As like a muscular Chad wearing a tight t-shirt and jeans. I cannot picture that. It is not fathomable to me. I can more clearly picture him as a lean, attractive woman with a nice set of tits and a fucking skirt and eyeshadow than I can him as an attractive man. You know, it's not possible in my head. So I am more supportive of Conrad becoming a girl than becoming like a ripped Chad, because it would be too weird. It would be more uncomfortable. I've reversed my statement. I've gone back on it. What?
Now I'm confused. I was gonna say so supportive, and now I'm confused about what the statement was.
Yeah, I'm moving on.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, I've talked too much about transitioning, and the thoughts have become confusing as fuck, probably, for anyone.
I'm confused on what you were going back on, so...
Oh, no, I was going back on because initially I had said that he should have tried getting in shape first and seeing how that felt before
I
transitioning,
thought you were only applying that to yourself,
seeing
so...
if... Well, I had originally suggested that as something that anyone should do, of kind of, like, seeing what it would be like if you change your image in different ways and seeing if that stuck before doing something so dramatic. And so I'm going back on that and saying that, I would feel weirder witnessing Conrad as a fit guy than as a woman, so no. So he should never have tried that. He's doing the right thing. She's doing the right thing.
The correct plan of action.
Yeah, but, on another note, I think for the time being, I'm probably going to use Digi as a gender-neutral term until I feel comfortable enough with the pronouns in the name, because Digi-Nay and Digi-Bro, all I have to do is say Digi, and it works. It's already been hard for me to call Conrad Digi for years, and that's been a long time, so it's going to take me a while with the new name of Gray, especially, I mean, it's a goofy name, let's be real, It's a little cringe, just gonna say, but I mean, cringe is based, and that's your decision.
Exactly.
I will accept whatever
Cringe
name is
based,
given.
and that's okay.
It's a little corny in my opinion, but
I mean, what name would you expect her to use? Rebecca?
yeah,
Morgan?
Connie, man, Connie would have been easy for me. Would have been very easy to pick up, Connie.
That doesn't feel right either.
Yeah.
Though.
Nothing's gonna feel like Sarah.
Sarah.
Ashley. Yeah, well, those are all fucking cousin names. God damn it.
Oh,
I have too many fucking cousins. They have all the names taken. Yeah, I don't know what the name could have been. Fucking Nightwolf.
Nightwolf.
But I can deal with Digi, so I'll probably use that in videos at least as I work through this transition. I hope this has come off as supportive,
So
that was my goal. was to show overwhelming support.
Wow.
In my own goofy fucking backwards ass way. It's a weird subject,
It is a strange subject.
Did I ever think I would be talking about this on a podcast? No, it's gotten quite fucking hot up here and I need to pee again. It's gotten
very warm. I have to pee as well.
And we'll probably wrap up this episode after this topic, but those are the things we need to talk about was moving and the transition. Because people keep asking in the fucking comments, and I'm like, well, fucking whatever. All right, I'll give you what you want. But I'm not just gonna make a tweet about it or whatever. Like I wanna talk about all the interesting ideas and context and the stuff that she would talk about. All of the interesting implications. All right, we'll try this. We'll try to end this mission.
All right, that sounds
I'll try to beat it one more time. But, anything else to talk about?
I think we've pretty much covered my bases. Hey, so our favorite coffee shop is open again for takeout, but they set up this hilarious way to get into the coffee shop where they have put little footprints on the floor leading you around to get to the table where you have to take your order. So that you have to do a little dance routine, and I love it, and I'm so excited to go do it every time when we go. It makes me so happy.
Yep.
It's great.
We are queers. We are fucking gay.
Hey, it's
because
fine.
we love this gay ass shit, but I love it. It's great. It's my favorite place. It's my favorite fucking hipster ass coffee shop, and I love doing their little jig. All right, I died, so I guess this is it. It's quite hot up here. Love you, Gray. See you soon. Butt fuck funeral. Fucking dick shit nightmare. Eat ass, smoke grass.
I gotta pee.
I gotta pee real bad as well.
Alright, well, it's a good thing we have two bathrooms because we both have to pee. Alright, we're gonna go pee. Bye!
I forgot to talk about my overcompensating masculine week of fucking woodworking and being a Chad. And totally not a result of my brother becoming a woman. Had nothing to do with that. I mean, it literally had nothing to do with that. I just think it's funny that I had the most masculine week of my life.
Week of masculinity.
I went full fucking Chad. I was like, fuck! Oh god, I gotta become the ultimate Chad. I have to become the manliest man in the world because my brother's transitioned into a woman.
It do be like that.
Alright, bye! Bye!